Senate Republicans are continuing to block this critical COVID relief bill. Now Donald Trump is attacking voting by mail as he trails Joe Biden in the polls. But there is more, and if you haven't heard about this, we're going to get into it right now. In an incriminating and sweeping claim, the president is brazenly saying he will take the instruments of voting hostage right now. Now, this, of course, comes as these talks have stalled over relief for millions of Americans. You know it. A lot of people know it. People are without jobs through no fault of their own. There was jobless benefits until they ran out. So that is the backdrop for Donald Trump now formally blocking $25 billion in emergency funding for the Postal Service. Making it harder to vote is not something politicians generally admit is their goal, and certainly not as part of a strategy to take a hostage, your COVID relief from your taxpayer dollars for you and millions of others. So this is a big story here tonight with echoes of the confessions everyone remembers from Ukraine collusion, which of course led to impeachment. Sometimes they just say it out loud. Donald Trump admits it on camera.
They want $25 billion for the post office. Now, they need that money in order to have the post office work so it can take all of these millions and millions of ballots. Now, if we don't make a deal, that means they don't get the money. That means they can't have universal mail-in voting. They just can't have it.
If we don't get the deal, your president says, then they don't get free and fair voting, which is your actual constitutional right. This is the president conditioning your jobless benefits on your right to vote. It comes amidst slowdowns that have been widely reported at the post office under this administration and warnings from, again, nonpartisan independent election officials, not the anti-Trump resistance, that there is serious potential for further problems counting what will be more crucial in a pandemic, which is mail-in ballots. Now, one way to look at this is, okay, the president said something in an interview. He says a lot of stuff. But, Ari, how real is this? Well, we try to make sense of that for you. And I have some caveats about all this as well for accurate context. But the sign that this is real and intentional also comes from other parts of this administration. Top White House economic advisor saying something very similar. Listen to Larry Kudlow admitting that at the White House, they see the constitutional and universal foundation of a democracy, quote, voting rights, listen for it. They see that as some sort of liberal idea to be negotiated.
So much of the Democratic asks are really liberal left wish lists. We don't want to have voting rights and aid to aliens and so forth. That's not our game. Voting rights. That's not our game. I'm showing you this so you can make up your own mind about what it means. But this is what you're hearing from the president and his advisor. And then Speaker Pelosi responding with something that is factually important, whoever you prefer on the ideology or the politics or the debate between these individuals. She's invoking an actual piece of numerical information, which is bad news for Trump in this standoff. She notes that voting budget figure comes from Donald Trump's own administration.
We put $25 billion. That figure is the figure that was recommended by the Board of Governors of the U.S. Postal Service, 100% appointed by Donald Trump. The president is afraid of the American people. He's been afraid for a while. He knows that on the legit, it'd be hard for him to win. So he wants to put obstacles of participation.
The speaker arguing that this comes out of Trump's weakness, that he is shook, that he's worried he's losing to Biden if they just count all the votes. Now, there are caveats, and if you watch The Beat, you know we always bring them to you again for fairness and context. So I want you to understand, of course, it is true that high-stakes deal-making in Washington can be a tough game, that sometimes people in either party will threaten to block something that is a key provision or a sacred cow of the other side, that becomes part of a negotiating strategy. And then ultimately, maybe the deal still gets done. Maybe the postal money still comes through. I can't tell you tonight whether that's going to happen or not. But in fairness, that is a possible defense, that this is hardball. But then even beyond this deal, Donald Trump, of course, has been publicly attacking voting by mail anyway. And if Donald Trump does, as he's announced tonight, he says he wants to, use his budgetary power to starve the instruments of voting during this pandemic, Democrats are warning a free and fair election itself may be in peril. Hey, I'm Ari Melber from MSNBC. You can see more of our videos right here, or better yet, subscribe to our YouTube channel below. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us, and we appreciate that.